those strategies numerous times. And well, as we said, in this case, we have map number 2 coming up. We have CE opting for the first pick. So they give the map choice over to KSV, and they decide to go for, well, a lot of team fights. They go for Battlefield of Eternity.
Ooh, golly. Battlefield of Eternity and KSV. It is a pretty good map for them. I think something like 11-0 in league play by the time we got to BlizzCon through Phase 2. They always go there, and they always win, and it's usually pretty dominant. But it's pretty good for CE.
It's usually pretty fast as well. So at this point, maybe a little bit of a call out to Roll20. Like, yeah, we saw what you did at Warhead. We can still beat that. First pixel bonus income.
Wow. Is it still Roll20 who holds the record? Fastest game?
I'm not sure.
It is. I think it is, yeah.
As far as I know, it is.
For a while, it was a Chinese team in Phase 2, but Roll20 had to take it at BlizzCon. Here we go into Battlefield of Eternity for Game 2 of this best of 2. CE with the first pick, first ban.
The Chipmunk Terran has the mastermind behind it.
What?
Huh? What's his nickname?
Who? Noblesse?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was a Chipmunk Terran.
I didn't
He
realize.
looks a little bit like a chipmunk. I think we settled on Alvin.
Oh, like a specific one. Okay.
Yeah, like there was an actual chipmunk meta at the time. I mean, that's a few years back, of course. So yeah, but I think everybody agreed at some point, Korean commentators included, that we settled for Alvin.
Oh, I love Noblesse. He is.
He has that little mischievous grin every now and then.
Yeah,
you know, that's why you go for Alvin.
I hope that he stays. It'd be awesome to have him back as a warrior player, like now that he's kind of back in the hero scene. But man, he has his drafting just elevated KSV to the next level. We've got bans. CE bans Greymane. Garrosh. That's an interesting first ban from KSV.
Everybody is always praising the drafting of Noblesse, and really to an extent where Dignitas, after they went for BlizzCon preparation to Korea, they really said that at the beginning they weren't really quite sure if Noblesse would actually come to BlizzCon or not, and they were just saying, hey, if Noblesse doesn't come to BlizzCon, that would be such a huge win for the West, because MEP Black back then, now KSV Black, is a completely different team when Noblesse drafts for them, because that guy is just a genius.
He is. Karazim first pick. Genji Rhaegar chosen by KSV. Rhaegar will give that burst healing to Genji, especially while he's deflecting. Also with Lightning Bond has a lot more damage for the Immortal. The Genji signifies that KSV is ready for a fight.
Yeah, they definitely are, and we have seen insane Genji play by them already. At this point, though, we have CE again with a very early Karazim here, very high up. He has very good damage also. He can really help you with additional damage against the Immortal. But he opens up a few pathways in terms of heroes. So if they wanted to go into an Avatar composition, which we've seen sometimes, Karazim would already be a good support to start that off with. Let's not forget that we have also still as a tank Arthur's here at the front line. Greymane has been banned. You can still think about a few heroes that would help you with the pressure against the Immortal in particular. Mala, of course, comes to mind, which would also lead you into a double support setup. So I'm curious to see which route which route CE is going to choose here.
You talked about Abathur, and I wonder if they're if CE are concerned about KSV getting Abathur on Battlefield of Eternity. I don't really think that that's generally how KSV likes to play out Battlefield of Eternity. It's more of a sit-back strategy, and that just doesn't sound like KSV on Battlefield of Eternity, especially at all. But I would say more like maybe a double reset comp from KSV with Genji and Li Ming. But I wonder if CE is concerned about the double Genji and will ban Abathur here. I
find the way that CE drafts right now extremely interesting. So they go immediately for Tyrael and Anubarak. And those are great heroes, but they leave, again, damage open for the later picks. It's something that they've already done on the last map. So they would allow KSV to get whatever they want in terms of the damage department. We still have a couple of insanely good tanks out there. EPC is still open. We have still Muradin available. So there's a lot on the map that KSV can still get. And on the side of CE, when I see a Tyrael from a Chinese team that hasn't chosen Greymane yet, in my head there's immediately, is there a chance that they're going Judgment here and trying to blow someone up? So I expect something a bit crazy out of them, especially after we just saw them as Evo. So I want to see if they have another pocket pick maybe where they think, okay, this is the one where we're going to throw a curveball that the KSV is not prepared for.
Well, CE really does pride themselves on the flexibility and hero pools of their ranged assassins too, so it may have felt like they needed either they're going to hide, like you said, or they just feel like those are the more flexible options, and they can go ahead and get a noob and Tyrael here if they feel like that's important. A Noob and Tyrael. Tyrael's the deny to not give Sanctification along with Genji, and then a noob can cocoon the Dragon Blade so that he can't get anything out of that. Yeah,
we've also seen a lot of Anuburak and Stukov combos, for example, but at this point you wouldn't expect that to be played on the side of C anymore. Normally you have a bit more blow-up potential when you are aiming for that. KSV played that quite a bit though, so there might also be a world where they were a bit concerned about that. Arthas is again taken, leaving here as well, so double resets on the side of KSV. Arthas into Karazim, and here comes Tracer Tassadar.
Very fast, showing that they either knew that KSV was going this Arthas leaving route or just frankly did not care. They're going to get Tassadar Tracer anyway. Double Warrior, double support with a Tracer to do the damage. Karazim does lend a lot more damage to the Immortals, but this is a brawling composition.
But that feels more and more like we're going to see Judgment here, I feel. I mean, I love Sanctification, but the point is, if you have Tracer and Karazim zipping all over the place, it's not really that composition where you would typically go, okay, you want to fight on a certain point here, engage into the backline, and then really fight with an Illidan, for example, going straight into walking form. So that still feels a little bit like we could see something different.
Well, if that's the case now, with an Uther pickup, just in case, there's both Divine Shield, there's Hand of Protection to try to deal with that Judgment, and there's still Ancestral Healing too, so there's a lot of burst possibilities of getting through that Judgment Pulse Bomb, maybe, from CE.
I mean, we also now at this point had Uther as the last pick, so that can definitely be a Divine Storm here, just to simply lock Tracer down. If that's the case, then having simply Karazim around might not really be enough, and they might decide to go into Sanctification after all. I don't know, every single time I see a Chinese team, I expect aggression. When I see a Tyrael, they immediately do Sanctification since it's an insane ult. We've seen the first few Judgments. That was mainly to blow Junkrat up in the backline since he has a very low hit point pool. And in this case, you could make an argument that trying to go for that blow up in the backline would also work for CE. And as we know that they like to be aggressive, it would work. But I'm really curious to see how they're going to play this.
I am too. Is it the once again attack and destroy kind of composition with 7-sided strike with maybe even a Judgment Pulse Bomb? Or is this more of a protect the carry, protect the Shuyu Tracer? I've heard a lot of good things about Shuyu's Tracer, actually.
The Chinese commentators are all praised for, in particular, like just one of the straight up best range damage dealers that they have here. And you bring up the 7-sided. I would really love for them to go farm here. If Tracer dies, they are in trouble, so I feel they need some kind of panic button to protect it.
Yeah, it can be difficult though with a Tassadar shield. Let's see how it goes. KSV Black is in the blue, up 1 game in this best of 2. With Kyocha playing Rhaegar, Sake on Uther, Tist playing Arthas, Reset on Li Ming, and Rich playing Genji.
Resets once again, aiming for his resets here. It's absolutely frightening what he can pull off if they get the early kills. And to the right side of the map, we have CE with Paradise on Anubara, KTY on Tassadar, Aloof Fool on Karazim, Shuyu on Tracer, and Wind, the youngster, on Tyrael.
Great to see CE be able to have Shuyu back with them. When they played Tracer in the group stage of BlizzCon, they had to flex Aloof Fool over to Tracer, and while he did a good job there, you could see that the comfort of trying to flex with that wasn't really available, or wasn't as comfortable for them for that. I'm
really happy to see the performance of CE here at the tournament. I have to admit, they absolutely disappointed me at BlizzCon. Their performance in the group stage, in my opinion, was absolutely abysmal, because it just simply, not from an execution perspective, but it just simply showed from the drafting and how often they were surprised by strategies that were very clearly transparent to any team that does research into the Western scene, being in Europe or North America. It just felt like they didn't prepare properly. And now the performance that we're seeing at this tournament is just so much better already, and that gives me a lot of hope for the Chinese scene. They go up against KSV, which is of course just an absolutely a giant to slay here, and they have fallen behind, but the way they present themselves in the first map and also here shows a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I feel like it's not even just CE when it comes to the drafting adjustments. Every single day, it feels like for all of the Chinese teams, they are improving a lot in their drafting. Let's see how this comp goes, though, on Battlefield of Eternity, one of KSV's best maps, if not their best, for so long, too. I mean, I remember early stages of last year when they were dominating on this map. It has always been a mainstay for this group of players.
Also an adjustment that we have to talk about is Wolf Run on Rega, who decided to not go into Lightning Bond, which is traditionally what you are looking for if you play on Battlefield of Eternity. I don't think they're too worried about losing the Immortal race against CE with that setup. CE clearly wants to fight, so they just opt to keeping it a bit safer. Tracer in trouble and a lot at that, but the shield is in, and Shu survives with a nice E here.
Well done, though, by KSV. Rich goes in with a Swift Strike, knowing exactly where the recall position will go, and Tist waiting in the wings to hopefully get that kill as first blood. But CE gets out just fine. A lot of shielding available for the team, thanks to that Tyrael and Tassadar.
Yeah, Shui is definitely awake now, I can tell you that. So here comes an Uberak. Paradise trying to get knock up against Rich, doesn't get it though. Follows immediately up with the Impale, but he's in trouble now. And Uberak about to fall as Kyocha goes in for the kill. Rich helps out, and that is kill number 1 in favor of KSV.
The Nerubian armor coming in handy to keep him as alive as he was, that extra spell armor, but in the end, just not quite enough to keep Paradise alive there. And with that loss, CE has to give up the first halftime show of the Immortal.
And it is, of course, the map choice of KSV. They are strong in this battleground. They are once again proving it here. They win the halftime show, are closing in on level 4 and gain the second talent a little bit before their opponent does. But CE is immediately ready for the defense here.
Nice to see Force Armor from Li Ming to help out with those early game pulse bombs. CE comes in for another defense. Fully on defense here, but Karzim is not here. The first pulse bomb goes down, does connect with Tist. Body blocks for a long time. Tist goes down. CE claims a kill.
CE claims the kill, and Tist actually was in a lot of trouble there and locked down for ages. Was extremely well done. Tassadar now, on the other hand, has fallen as well, and Wind is going to die eventually. So again, KSV with a double kill, a 1-for-2 trade. But CE is absolutely not afraid to bring the fight to the green team. They are always going in here, and after level 4 for Tassadar, the shield is helping out Tracer so much. Once again, an attempt to take down Rich, and down he goes. Genji eliminated.
Well done. CE knows they are going to lose this Immortal, but they're going to try to get as much as they possibly can out of that. Unfortunately, every time they dive this deep, they end up losing at least the same amount, if not more. They get the 1 kill, they lose 2. They come back again, they get the Genji kill, they lose 2 more. This is afforded KSV almost a level lead, and likely more from that with this Immortal.
I'm not gonna lie though, I am loving the aggression from them.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, here in the early game, they get the worst end of the trades, but still, imagine that against any other team. That aggression and coordination that we're currently seeing from them is looking awesome. And as the game continues, this pressure against a single hero just increases, with especially Karazin picking up a little bit more damage. And he's always present when we have Tracer going in. Another attempt here against Tist, but we have again Tyrael in a bit of trouble as Uberak moves in, tries to help out. Knock up against Trist at the attempt, and down he goes again. Arthur's eliminated.
CE was completely split. 2 were working on the Immortal, and still the 3 together find that kill on Arthas. This is sort of working for CE. They take down the Immortal, they save the fort, they're still hanging in.
And it could have gone even better for them in the early game. I feel like a lot of the times when the counter kill for KSV happened, it was avoidable. This aggression of CE is absolutely awesome, but so is KSV. They are jumping in. Rich wants the kill against Tassadar. They are trying to get it here. Tracer also in a bit of trouble as we have Rega jumping in. The shield is there though, and Kyoja not in trouble just yet, but Alufu, does he have the dash available? Oh, he has not, but he's still able to move out in time.
He's fine. That synergy from CE to get each other away out kind of reminds me of KSV yesterday when they were playing versus Team Dignitas on Cursed Hollow. Just barely everyone escaping. But KSV this whole time is still healthy enough to work on getting the Khazra camp in the top lane. With that camp and the low amount of fort, depends how important it is to them to go back. They've already sent a couple members back, so they may just use this as busy work for CE.
CE's performance makes me really happy, because when KSV started to really take the halftime show, got the first few kills, in my head it was like, okay, are we going to see 10 or 11 minute game here? And now CE just like fighting back, KSV replying in kind, both of the teams just brawling here. Just an all-out war between the two teams. Nobody takes a step back, all of them fighting for every single inch on the map, and it's beautiful to watch so far. A lot of aggression, A lot of room for mistakes, of course, but it's hella entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty darn fun. Also, both teams for a long time was like, wait a second, is there a bottom lane? I guess we should send some down there and soak for a little while. But with the Immortal spawning in a few seconds, I think it's time to get back for the brawls. What do you think?
Yeah, I would definitely like that. And I can't wait for level 10 to hit because I want to see how CE is going to play it there. Shuyu also impressing so far on Tracer. Really aggressive, darting in for these kills and most of the time confirming them with the help of Karazim, who's not afraid to dash in. The entire setup of CE is just full out designed to isolate a single target. And Nubarak jumping in, getting the stuns, Tyrael following it up. Once again, they're having the fight starting. Wind in a bit of trouble, but look at Tist here. He eats the bomb. Great move again from Tracer. This time, no kill. Wind a bit low. We will have to move back and tap the fountain. But in the meantime, we see a Nubarak at the bot lane, soaking some experience, which was the trigger point for KSV in the first place. Realizing Nubarak is at the bot lane caused them to move in for a potential kill.
Yeah, there is no global for either team, but Genji has that Swift Strike. They have the Wolf Run too, so there is that mobility from that to be able to soak those potentially a little bit faster than CE, and that gives them just the extra edge in the Immortal fights to try to get them. It helped them in the last one. Ooh, the Orb and the Swift Strike, that was a... Ooh, I'd be scared if I were you. Blinked out though, just fine.
Yeah. Also, another thing is that 7 is a massive power spike for Li Ming. Once the Calamity hits, you are in a position where you can do so much damage, and just like getting resets and kill after kill is much, much easier. So that's definitely something I would be scared of our CE. That kill against Tyrael that we just saw catapults KSV once again into a position where they are taking the lead, the halftime show, and potentially even a full shield Immortal if they play their cards right.
It's really great to see perfect defense from KSV, or from Rich too, knowing that how fast Tracer attacks, the Tassadar attacks too, even Karazim when he goes in with his dash and then his E. So from that respect, making sure that he has deflect as much as possible, trying to bait out and see if he can get that extra damage in.
KTY just hates his life in this game, by the way. Rich is always on him the entire time. Once again, just Rich he is going for Tassadar every opportunity he gets, and KTY is always trying to toe that line between, I need the shield for Tracer, but somehow I need to make sure I don't die here.
Can you not? I am simply a Tassadar.
Yeah.
Please focus on someone else, Rich.
It really helps him that he now has Archon, so that's going to be great for him. Cocoon has chosen Sanctification also. Would have loved a bit more aggression, but we have enough of that already, so I don't really blame him here. And we have the Palm, which is going to give a lot of protection on the Tracer in particular. But the Immortal in the hands of KSV is barreling through the bot lane. KTY in a bit of trouble. Rich, on the other hand, gets cleansed as Nubarak makes his move.
Receives the cleanse. Heroics for both sides. No one in the top soaking. It's a 5v5 fully here around the bottom fort for CE. Druin allowing members to go forward, knock up there. Divine Shield and Ancestral Healing and Army of the Dead. This is a moment where KSV wants to fight.
Better safe than sorry here, keeping Tist alive. The problem is that Reset gets no help right now, but Tracer doesn't have the dash anymore, but Wind is moving in for the kill. Luful at the same time is extremely low though, gets slowed down by Arthas, has to use the Palm, doesn't get the kill. Wind is about to fall, tries to get some value from the explosion, but at least blow the wave up, and Rich is already on the Dragon Blade, but once again, Xuyu with the damage, but here comes the second kill as Reset goes in. Calamity and also Disintegrate, blowing Tracer to pieces.
CE biting off just a little more than they could chew in that fight. Wind wanting to go forward, thinking he would get the kill on Li Ming, hoping that the team could handle someone else in there. The orb over the wall, almost a destruction of an aloof fool. But KSV the whole time had the Immortal pushing too. It takes down the fort. They can rotate up. They've sent Kyocha, Tist, and Genji already. And Tist, I mean, I've talked about his Arthas enough, I feel, in this series, but he played that last fight pretty well.
I just loved how they had the Divine Shield on him, the Ancestral, and the Army. It's like, you shall not die. It's like, whoever dies here, you will survive this, my
the
friend.
everlasting
I got
Arthas.
your back. Exactly. It's hard enough to kill him in the first place, but in this case it seemed impossible. I was a bit afraid after they stacked these cooldowns though that Li Ming would actually fall, and the only reason why she survived is that Shuyu and Tracer ran out of dashes to move in, and so did Karazim, so they couldn't really chase her down, so that could have backfired.
And maybe that is why we saw Wind go so hard after getting reset, because then you, with Spatial Echo, will be able to get some of those dash charges back up and enable Shuyu a lot more.
And there were a couple of moments on the CE side as well where they were a little bit too cautious, especially when we saw Karazim palm himself. because he was so afraid of Arthas. And just as the moment as Tiz was actually backing off and realizing, hey, I can't commit to the kill here. So he could have held that farm for a bit longer, and that would have allowed him to save maybe Tracer later on. At this point, KSV has the talent advantage. Once again, Rich is jumping in. They're fighting all for the camp. Here comes Archon immediately being used. Sanctification on the ground. This is the fight that CE definitely wants. Talent disadvantage. Oh no, they're going in, but also Rich with the Dragon Blade.
Dragon Blade cut through a lot of members, but didn't get any kills for KSV. KSV have stolen a lot of health and the camp from CE at least, and they have 13, a level ahead of CE. So they'll just move back and get free damage on the Immortal while CE mobilizes up. They still have a Pulse Bomb potentially, and KSV put a lot of resources into keeping that Dragon Blade going. Both Ancestral Healing and the Divine Shield from that, but it was a great sanctification from Wind to make sure that everyone could stay healthy through that.
Yeah, there were a lot of cooldowns were used in the last fight by the Korean team. KSV used everything, where CE at least has Palm available. That might make the difference here. Palm already used, not procced as Paradise moves out, so at this point it's just again that brawl that we expected. We have Cocoon in another 5 seconds. Coming off cooldown. That's one tool they could use to make sure that the heals are not coming in, but the double support is currently keeping everyone on KSV's side alive. And again, they win the halftime show. If
Rich has any mobility cooldowns, he is using it for something. If it's not harassing KTY, that Tassadar, then it's stopping some backing. It's checking on someone, seeing if he can find that kill, get the extra damage in, distract CE long enough for the rest of the team for reset to throw the damage down on the Immortal. It's been tough going for CE, but they are definitely still hanging into this game. They're just about to get 13, thanks to Paradise soaking in the bottom lane. Do they get it in time, though, to be able to contest and stop KSV, get one more fight before this Immortal goes KSV's way?
CE has 13 now, and they're trying to go in. Rich again eats the bomb here. Tracer with the damage output. And what I really like about CE overall is they play in both games very different styles, and they play them well. This is arguably their strongest performance in this tournament thus far, despite the score at this point.
Yeah, they are really proving that they belong here with the best of the best. Rich coming after KTY, Divine Shield, there's the rest of the team, tries to deal with them. Paradise diving in on top of Reset. Dimensional Shift at the last second keeps the Tassadar alive.
Palm being used and the Sanctification as well as they're backing out, but the Immortal is nearly taken. That's a full shield Immortal if they get it. Aloof full in trouble. KTY is low, both of them trying to survive, but here comes Rich, gets the reset, goes in and gets the double kill.
Ruh-roh, Reset's right behind that. 3 members down of CE. Pulse Bomb does hit Kyocha, but Paradise and Shuyu need to get out of here if they can.
The dog.
Oh, that Wolf Run!
Wolf Run value confirmed. Hands down Tracer takes her on, and that's a team wipe as KSV takes the 2-level lead and also a full shield Immortal. This is gonna hurt Gilly.
Yes, it will. 10 kill advantage for KSV, and just on the cusp of getting 16, way ahead of CE with a fully shielded Immortal heading toward that top keep. Things look rough for our Chinese team.
Yeah, this could arguably be the end of the game. They get the 16 talent and the kill. That would be lights out here. So CE is currently in a position where, first of all, they don't have Archon for another 30 seconds. They don't have Sanctifications, and there are 2 very important cooldowns, whereas we are seeing Divine Shield coming off cooldown in just a few seconds. CE needs to jump behind the Immortal and try to win the fight here, and it is a desperate fight they're taking.
Yeah, knowing that Tist positioned well to stop that with the Army of the Dead too. Aloof is taking a lot of damage. The fight happening on multiple fronts. Palm procced. Aloof keeps himself alive. Wind and Aloof collapsing now on Reset. Shuyu's going to come around from the side. Divine Shield forced on Li Ming to keep him alive. Shuyu desperate for this kill.
And there's the kill against Tracer, and that's the damage gone already as we're seeing the Dragon Blade being used. Rich once again trying to pop off here, as we have also again Sanct on Tyrael, but he falls, and so does Nubarak. Reset after reset coming into play here. Tassadar dying, and only Karazim alive. They keep about to fall, and KSV Black on their way to victory, their way to the core to make this a 2-0.
CE falling faster than a Jenga tower in that last fight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only a solo Karazim left as KSV move on to the core to take out CE 2-0. But CE brought the fight.
Yeah, 17 kills against 3, but I don't really feel that the stats do the game justice. CE loses against KSV Black without taking a map. But again, it is the favorite they went up against here today, and they played I feel their best performance for the tournament, but it's just so rough to beat KSV.
Yeah.
They're so strong.
Yeah, Fnatic was able to get one game, but it was the first game of the tournament, and ever since that moment, it seems like KSV is like, no.
Yeah.
Just no.
They were also not very happy when they lost that map. So that was something where they said, like, yeah, that shouldn't really have happened. So ever since then, they were a little bit angry going into these games, and they're taking them in quite convincing fashion. But to be honest, seeing CE's performance here, yes, they might not be able to take down KSV Black, but with a performance like this against other teams that we have in the tournament here, I feel they can definitely have impact. They played way better than the days before, and so far, they always took at least one map from their opponents. So their position in the standings is actually not bad.
Yeah, they're giving people run for their money. It may be that maybe they can get enough of these points here and there, and once they start being able to get some 2-0 victories, if they can even do that, maybe they can get an upset somewhere to get in the top 4, at least be in a very good position and setup so that even if they are in the lower bracket by the time we get to the knockout stage, I'd say they're a fearsome competitor.
I would definitely agree with you there. But of course, the stats, if we just look at them, highly in favor of KSV. 17 kills against 3, a 3-level lead towards the end. Of course, also because CE was forced into a fight behind the Immortal with the talent disadvantage. They had to take it. It was a Hail Mary. They can't fight on the Immortal. They did their best, and KSV was just a bit too strong.
KSV with 2 wins, Towers of Doom working out really well for them with the strategy, understanding of their opponents. Then here in Battlefield of Eternity, just par for the course for MVP and their double reset comp. Rich getting another MVP. He's really racking these up, isn't he?
But to be honest, can you blame them? I mean, that was an obvious MVP right there. It was absolutely fantastic. Again, Tacita hated his life this entire game, and he hunted them down one after another. Being a Tracer, being a Tacita, he was always there, and he just confirmed kill after kill, and also gave the resets to just continue to put out the damage with Li Ming. Yeah, that double threat comp worked out super well for them with the double supporting behind them. But I'm also really excited to talk about the next match, because NA takes on EU again. Round 2. Fnatic versus Roll20. I would have loved to commentate this again. We had the first one. We're probably going to get another NA versus EU match this tournament at some point.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. You guys should be excited. Don't go anywhere because that awesome match is coming up right after this commercial break.